Good morning, children. In the previous session, you have studied about what is codominance and multiple alleles. Today, let us discuss about effect of a single gene product. Got the meaning of it? Every gene will produce an enzyme. Clear? So, today's class, let us discuss about the effect of a single gene product. Occasionally, the single gene product may produce more than one effect. Try to understand. Every character is controlled by a gene. Each gene will produce an enzyme. Sometimes, very rarely, a single gene product can have more than one effect. So let us take an example. In case of pea seed, synthesis of starch grain is controlled by one gene, right? In case of pea seed, synthesis of starch grain is controlled by a single gene, that is capital B. Organism is diploid, so naturally it has two alleles. First, let us take what are the two alleles. One is capital B, dominant allele. Other one is of small b, that is a recessive allele. Now, under homozygous dominant condition, that is when both the alleles are dominant, capital B, the gene can produce larger starch grain. Under homozygous dominant condition, the gene can produce larger starch grain. But under homozygous recessive condition, the gene can produce only smaller starch grain. This is clear. Single gene product may have more than one effect. Which character we have taken? In case of pea seed, starch synthesis is the character we have taken. It is controlled by how many gene? Only one gene. This gene has how many alleles? Two alleles. One is capital B, dominant allele. Small b is the recessive allele. Under homozygous dominant condition, that is capital B, it produces large starch grain. Under homozygous recessive condition, it produces smaller starch grain. Now, when it is under heterozygous condition, what is the heterozygous condition? Capital B, small b, the starch grain is of intermediate in size. So, if starch grain size is considered as the phenotype, the allele is showing incomplete dominance. F1 is intermediate between both the parents. Clear? Under homozygous dominant, starch grain is larger. Under homozygous recessive, starch grain is smaller. Under heterozygous condition, it is of intermediate. So, if starch grain size is considered as a phenotype, then the allele is showing which one? Incomplete dominance. So, the dominance is not an autonomous feature of a gene. And one more thing here you have to consider. If under homozygous dominant condition, the seeds produced are of round in shape, whereas under homozygous recessive condition, the seeds produced are of wrinkled. Under heterozygous condition, it is of intermediate in size. If you are taking the shape of the seed, under homozygous dominant condition, it is round. Under homozygous recessive condition, it is of wrinkled in nature. So, dominance is not an autonomous feature of a gene. or the product that it has. It is not a independent feature of a gene or the product, but it mainly depends on the product. Is it clear for you? If you are taking starch grain as a character, it is controlled by a single gene, capital B. This gene has how many alleles are there? Two alleles are there. One is capital B, another one is small b. When under homozygous dominant condition, the starch grain produced are larger. Under homozygous recessive condition, starch grains are smaller in size. But under heterozygous condition, it is intermediate. And the shape, if you are taking, under homozygous dominant condition, it is round. Under homozygous recessive condition, it is of wrinkled, right? So dominance is not an autonomous feature of a gene or the product that it has information. That means it is not an independent feature of a gene or the product, but mainly it depends on the product. Mainly it is depending on the product. Now let us see why someone asked me that day why some genes are dominant and some are considered to be recessive. That is called the concept of dominance. So for example, you are taking a substrate. Normally, a substrate is converted into product, right? Last year when you are studying about respiration, so many examples you have studied. Glucose is converted into glucose 6-phosphate with the help of an enzyme hexokinase. Likewise, for the conversion of substrate into product, what is needed? An enzyme is needed. And these enzymes are produced by gene. One gene normally produces one enzyme, or it is called one gene, one polypeptide hypothesis also. Because all enzymes are proteins, proteins are called polypeptide. This is clear. For the conversion of, in every metabolical pathway, a substrate is converted into product with the help of an enzyme. And these enzymes are produced with the help of a gene. So when a gene is having a normal type of allele, the substrate will be converted into product. Clear? For the conversion of substrate into product, an enzyme is needed. This enzyme is produced by a gene. The gene is having normal type of allele. The enzyme produced is normal, so substrate is converted into product. But when the gene has modified type of allele, not a normal allele, it is somehow modified. When a gene has modified type of allele, that gene can produce either a normal enzyme or it can produce a less efficient enzyme. It can either produce normal enzyme or a less efficient enzyme. Sometimes it can form even a non-functional type of enzyme, or sometimes it can't produce the enzyme. So if it produces a normal enzyme, if the modified allele also produce the normal enzyme, product will be formed. If it produces a less efficient enzyme, the amount of product formed will be lesser. If it produces a non-functional enzyme, product cannot be formed. If it is not producing the enzyme, no product will be formed. So, the unmodified allele is the dominant allele, whereas the modified allele is the recessive allele. That is why some genes are dominant, some are recessive. Try to understand. In every metabolical pathway, a substrate is converted into product. And these reactions are catalyzed by enzymes. And every enzyme is produced by a gene. When the gene is having normal allele or an unmodified type of allele that produces a functional enzyme, substrate is converted into product. But when the allele is modified, that time this modified allele can produce either a normal enzyme or a less efficient enzyme, or it can form a non-functional enzyme, or it cannot produce enzyme at all. When it produces a less efficient enzyme, amount of product will be less. If it produces a non-functional enzyme, no product will be formed. When it can't produce the enzyme, again product will not be formed. So, the unmodified allele, which allele? The unmodified allele is the dominant allele, and the modified one is considered to be the recessive allele. That is why some genes are dominant and some are considered to be recessive gene. Now next one is about a dihybrid cross. What is a dihybrid cross? You have studied what is a monohybrid cross. Cross between two plants that differ in a pair of trait or a pair of allele, mono. Here it is a dihybrid, cross between two plants that differ in two pair of traits. How many pair of traits? They are different, two pairs of trait. So Mendel has taken a round yellow seed. Shape of the seed is round, color of the seed is yellow, and it was crossed with wrinkled green seeds. So how many pairs of characters taken? Two pairs of characters are taken. So a cross between two plants that differ in two pair of traits is called a dihybrid cross. So let us see here what are the characters taken. So first one is, he has taken, which seed he has taken? Round and yellow. You have studied 7 character, which is the dominant form and which one is the recessive form. So if you take the shape of the seed, round is dominant. So he used which letter? Capital R, capital R. And color of the seed, yellow, is dominant. So what is used? Capital Y, capital Y. And it is crossed with the wrinkled green seed. Wrinkled is recessive. So which letter is used? Small r, small r. Again green is recessive. So small y, small y. Now gamete formation occur. So gamete is always a haploid. Capital R, homozygous. So how many times you have to write? Only once. Capital Y, which condition? Homozygous condition. So how many times we should write? Only one. So how many gamete it produced? Only one gamete, R, Y. Another one, the recessive parent produces small r, small y. So when these gametes fuse with each other, we'll get which generation? F1 generation. F1 generation is heterozygous. Capital R, small r, capital Y, small y. This is which one? Genotype. What is the phenotype? Round and yellow seed. Now next step, what he did? He has taken two F1 plants and it is made to cross with each other. Two F1 generation plants were made to cross with each other. So he has taken capital R, small r, capital Y, small y. It is crossed with another plant having capital R, small r, capital Y, small y. So here just listen how many gametes each parent produces. Each parent produces 4 gametes. Y crosses dihybrid cross. Organism is diploid. So 2n to the power 2. So how many gametes? 4 gametes are possible. First gamete is of capital R with capital Y. First one, capital R with capital Y. Second one, capital R with which Y? Small y. Capital R with small y. Third one is small r with capital Y. And then comes fourth one is of small r, small y. Clear? One is of capital R, capital Y from one parent. Another one is about the capital R, small y, small r, capital Y. And then comes, so here you can get 4 gametes are possible. Capital R, capital Y, one gamete. Second one capital R with a small y. Third one small r with a capital Y, and then small r with a small y. Now you have to cross it. First this two you will cross, and then this with this one, then capital R, capital Y with this, and then with this one. So finally, if you count the number of seeds which are having, number of plants that are having round and yellow seed, it is of 9. And then comes round and, if you are taking round yellow seed 9, then comes the round and green seed is of 3, then yellow and wrinkled seed is of 3, and green and wrinkled seed is of only 1. So the phenotypic ratio for dihybrid cross is of 9:3:3:1. This is clear. In monohybrid cross, phenotypic ratio is 3:1, genotypic ratio 1:2:1. But in a dihybrid cross, the phenotypic ratio is of 9:3:3:1. Better you write it in your notebook, do it and see. If you have any doubts, you can clarify it in the WhatsApp group. Thank you, children.